Have you ever wondered how to accurately measure your blood pressure at home? It's a question that holds more importance than you might think. Monitoring blood pressure is a key part of maintaining good health, and knowing how to do it accurately can make all the difference. It's not just about numbers on a screen, it's about understanding your body and taking control of your own health. So, stay tuned as we delve into the step-by-step guide on how to measure your blood pressure accurately at home. First things first, what exactly is blood pressure? Well, let's break it down. Picture your circulatory system as a city's water supply, with the heart as the pump station and your arteries as the pipes. Blood pressure is simply the force exerted by your blood against the walls of your arteries as it travels around your body. But why should you care about it? Well, too much pressure, known as high blood pressure or hypertension, can strain your heart and damage your arteries. Over time, this can lead to serious health problems like heart disease and stroke. On the flip side, if the pressure is too low, your organs may not get enough blood, which can lead to dizziness or fainting. So it's important to maintain a healthy blood pressure level. And how do you know what your blood pressure is? That's where a blood pressure monitor comes in handy. Now that we understand what blood pressure is, let's move on to how we can measure it accurately at home. Before we start, we need the right tools. Measuring blood pressure at home requires a home blood pressure monitor. Now there are various types of these handy devices out there, each with its own set of perks and quirks. You have the standard arm cuff monitors, the very picture of reliability. They are widely used in medical settings and can give accurate readings. Then there are wrist monitors, which are smaller and more comfortable to wear. But be warned, they can be a bit finicky and might not always provide the most accurate results. If you're a fan of tech, you might lean towards smart blood pressure monitors. They can sync with your smartphone and keep a digital log of your readings. Choosing the right one depends on your personal preference, comfort, and of course, budget. You also want to ensure that the monitor you choose is clinically validated for accuracy. With the right tools in hand, we can now proceed to the actual measuring process. The first step in measuring your blood pressure is preparation. Imagine you're about to engage in a session of meditation. You want your body and mind to be in a state of calm and relaxation. The same principle applies when preparing to measure your blood pressure. It's crucial to avoid any activities that might temporarily increase your blood pressure. This includes eating, drinking caffeinated beverages, or even engaging in strenuous exercise within 30 minutes prior to taking your measurement. Now let's talk about your sitting position. Find a comfortable chair with good back support. Make sure both your feet are flat on the ground and your legs are uncrossed. This is to ensure that your blood can flow freely throughout your body. Next, let's focus on your arm positioning. You'll want to rest your arm on a flat surface, such as a table, with your palm facing upwards. It's important to ensure that your upper arm is at the same level as your heart. This might sound a bit technical, but it's pretty simple. All it means is that your arm should not be hanging down or raised high up. It should be parallel to the floor. You might be wondering why all these details are so important. Well, they ensure that the blood pressure reading is as accurate as possible. Even minor changes in body position can influence your blood pressure and, consequently, your reading. Before we wrap up this part, a quick note on your mental state. Try to be as relaxed as possible. If you're feeling anxious or stressed, take a few minutes to calm down before proceeding. Deep breathing or visualizing a serene place can help. Remember, the goal is to create as accurate a snapshot of your normal blood pressure as possible. So, try to replicate these conditions every time you measure your blood pressure. With proper positioning, we're ready to move on to the next step. Now that you're in position, let's move on to the second part of the process. First, we have to place the cuff. Start by wrapping it around your upper arm, ensuring it's snug, but not too tight. The cuff should be positioned so that the lower edge is about 1 inch above the bend of your elbow. Make sure the tubing falls over the front center of your arm so it's correctly aligned with your heart. Next comes the inflation. Most modern home blood pressure monitors inflate automatically at the push of a button. If you're using an older manual model, you'll have to inflate the cuff by squeezing a rubber bulb until you no longer hear your heartbeat. Now, it's time to listen for the heartbeats. This is where the magic happens. If you're using a digital monitor, it will take care of this step for you. With a manual monitor, you'll need a stethoscope. Place the stethoscope in your ears, then place the diaphragm, the flat end, over the artery in your elbow bend. Inflate the cuff until you can't hear your heartbeat, then slowly release the air. As you release the pressure, listen closely. The first sound you hear is the systolic pressure, the higher number in your reading and the pressure when your heart beats. Continue to deflate the cuff and listen. When the sound disappears, that's the diastolic pressure, the lower number and the pressure when your heart is at rest. The last step is deflating the cuff. If you're using a digital monitor, it will automatically deflate and display your blood pressure on the screen. With a manual monitor, you'll need to deflate the cuff fully after noting your diastolic pressure. And there you have it. You've successfully measured your blood pressure. Remember, consistency is key. Always measure at the same time each day, and avoid eating, drinking caffeinated beverages, or exercising for at least 30 minutes before measuring. Now that we've measured the blood pressure, it's time to interpret the reading. So, we have the readings, but what do they mean? Let's dive into the world of numbers and see what these figures are trying to tell us. Blood pressure readings consist of two numbers, the systolic and the diastolic, usually written as systolic over diastolic. For instance, 120 over 80. The systolic number, the first and typically the higher number, measures the pressure in your arteries when your heart beats. It's like a snapshot of the force that your heart exerts on the walls of the arteries each time it contracts. On the flip side, the diastolic number, the second and usually lower number, gauges the pressure in your arteries when your heart is at rest between beats. You can think of it as the baseline, the constant pressure that exists in the arteries when the heart is not actively pumping blood around the body. Now let's talk about what is considered normal, high, and low blood pressure. A reading of 120 over 80 is often cited as the benchmark for normal blood pressure. However, normal can vary slightly depending on individual factors like age and overall health. Readings above 130 over 80 are generally considered high, signifying hypertension. Hypertension can lead to multiple health issues if not managed, including heart disease and stroke. On the other end of the spectrum, if your readings consistently come in below 90 over 60, this could indicate low blood pressure or hypotension. While not as commonly discussed, hypotension can also cause health problems such as dizziness and fainting, and in severe cases can be life-threatening. But remember, one reading isn't the be-all and end-all. Blood pressure can fluctuate throughout the day due to factors like stress, diet, and physical activity. Consistent readings over time give a more accurate picture. Understanding your readings is crucial in monitoring your health. So, arm yourself with this knowledge, keep track of your readings, and most importantly, consult with a healthcare provider for personalized advice. Because when it comes to health, knowledge is indeed power. So, there you have it, a comprehensive guide on how to accurately measure your blood pressure at home. We've journeyed through the importance of blood pressure, the tools you'll need, and a detailed step-by-step guide on how to measure your blood pressure. We've also delved into the interpretation of your blood pressure readings. Let's quickly recap. First, we have understood what blood pressure is and why it's crucial for our health. We've then taken a look at the tools you need, primarily a reliable home blood pressure monitor. From there, we followed a detailed guide on how to take your blood pressure, starting with the correct positioning of the cuff, ensuring it's snug but not too tight. We've also stressed the importance of relaxing and sitting still during the measurement. After taking the measurement, we've learned how to read the numbers. We've understood that the top number is the systolic pressure, indicating the force against your artery walls when your heart beats. And the bottom number is the diastolic pressure, reflecting the force when your heart is at rest. We've emphasized that regular monitoring is key. This helps you to track your blood pressure over time, identify any trends, and notice any sudden changes. However, remember that if your readings are consistently high or low, it's important to consult your healthcare provider. They can provide further advice and treatment if necessary. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding your blood pressure can be a lifesaver. Until next time, stay healthy.